I still see a few people logging in. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Positive Living Center. Yes, we are only on Zoom this morning because of weather. We decided to let everybody enjoy us from the comfort of where you are this morning. And we'll be back at service next Sunday, back in our beautiful sanctuary. Oh my goodness, what a week and a half that a lot of us have gone through. This has been historic stuff, this weather, for a lot of us, and I'm glad to see that everybody's doing okay. Luana and I found that in our subdivision that when things like this go on, how quickly community comes together and helps each other. And it helped keep all of our, we got stormed in, we couldn't go anywhere and move, but we had contact with neighbors and we were helping each other each and every day. And that's really community, just like this fabulous church that we all enjoy each and every week, knowing that community is there for you. So it's wonderful to see you back again this Sunday. This is the year of living from one's core values, the year 2023. And the themes for March are valor, vitality, and virtue. I look forward to our speakers continue to talk about these three different themes. I don't think we have anyone with us new today that I'm seeing. If you are, please let me know, and I'd love to have you introduce yourself to us. You all look like veterans of the PLC to me this morning. How about we get settled in for a little meditation to begin this service Sunday on this cool morning. I'm going to ask John Lalonde to play a little music for us to get us settled into meditation time. We'll go within and just be still.
Good morning, everyone.
God's presence is everywhere. We are the powerful product of God, from God. God's spirit source is our guiding light in the all and all. Our vitality comes from within us through God's source. We are spiritual beings having this human experience on this planet. We are here on purpose. It is up to us to discover our purpose while we are here, each and every day, each and every moment. Thank you for this, God, and so much more. And so it is. Thank you, John. That was beautiful music leading us into meditation. Fabulous. So relaxing. It's time for our spiritual thought. And our spiritual thought this morning comes from Reverend Judy DeRosa. Good morning, Judy.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I appreciate you, Joe, from your introduction, speaking about the core values. And I'll read the entire statement for the core values. They serve as a measuring stick for our choices and decisions in life, keeping us focused on the person we want to be, while creating our best environment for happiness, inner peace, and clear thinking. And that statement is very important because we are now at the point of our new thought awareness where one word shifted can change our life. And that word is want. We no longer need to stay in that place of wanting. We can replace that concept with other words that will empower the essence of this statement. And that is, I am ready. We can keep our life focused, and we are ready to be that creative, best person that we came here to be. And when we replace the words knowingly, consciously, with an awareness of not want and not need, but readiness, our world is listening. That universal life force gives us exactly what we're asking for. And as we say this core value to ourselves, we say we're ready. We're available to the universe because we are so much more. As we open our hearts and our minds to this new thought awareness, our entire life can change in a positive, loving, full, and rich way. And so it is.
Yay.
So it is. Thank you, Reverend Judy. Yes, 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 to all that you had to say. We are absolutely open at the top to receive and to say yes. Beautiful. We have a song coming now from Mr. John Lalonde.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna play a song doing something I haven't done here before, and that is to use a backing track. So it's going to be a piano that I'm playing along with. So don't be shocked.
That was beautiful. That
Thank
was
you.
uplifting and soothing at the same time.
Wonderful.
What's the name of that song, John?
Well, it's Quiet River.
White River.
Quiet
Beautiful.
River. And it's Ron Volkman playing piano.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for your gift.
Yes.
Ah, very soothing. Maybe that's gonna vitalize our speaker this morning. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Let's hear it from Reverend Bob Hand this morning. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. I'm not sure Quiet River actually refers to me, but we'll see. So we have our three core values this month, and I'm going to talk about virtue. Now, virtue comes from the Latin word vir, which means man. Now, there are other Latin words that mean man, but this refers specifically to a heroic man, a hero or somebody acting in a heroic manner. And so that person is vir, and their characteristics are virtues. And of course, as the action hero, if you will, excuse me, of Roman times, the virtues were valor or bravery, their strength, their speed, their aggression. And so these virtues were about fighting. And ladies, they only applied to men. Only men could be virtuous. But of course, that changed over time, and eventually women had virtues too. Now, the women's virtues were to be chaste, demure, quiet, calm, subservient to men. Of course, the same things we value in women now, obviously. But virtues went on from there, from personal characteristics of people to sort of the divine virtues, the way to be holy through virtues. And they occurred in many cultures. In Egypt, there was a goddess called Mate. And of course, she had many different attributes, but among her attributes were balance, order, and morality. And from her, they developed just the word mate, which meant morality or virtue. But it meant virtue in the way of the order of the universe. So it was mate that kept the seasons in order, that kept the stars and planets moving in the right way, that had day and following night following day. And so the concept of virtue, excuse me, is that there's a divine order of things that go in a particular way. And if people follow that divine order, then they're virtuous. And that concept was in Hinduism as well. The Hindu philosopher Valavar talked about the Dharma as a virtue, because Dharma was righteous justice. It was divine right action occurring on the cosmic level, but also within the individual. And if they followed the cosmic, if you will, then they would be virtuous. This is, in a way, very much like what Reverend Judy talks about when she talks about being in harmony with nature, and how by being in harmony with nature, that we're coming from the right place as an individual at that point. So for me, virtue is particularly important because of its Taoist roots. Of course, the most important document in Taoism is the Tao Te Ching. And translating from ancient Chinese to English, things don't always come out the same. One of the translations of the Tao Te Ching is the Book of the Way and its Power. But another translation that's often used is the Book of the Way and its Virtue. And Te, translated as virtue in that way, means that its virtue is that the order the Tao gives to the universe and our ability to follow that, and therefore to live a good life by being virtuous in the sense of following the divine way. And so Reverend Sandy has given us these core values like virtues, 36 this year, 3 each month. And from the Tao Te Ching, there are any number of virtues one might choose, but I'm going to talk about 3 of them. And we often say that New Thought incorporates sort of the the spiritual concepts for many different religions. And I think it's interesting here that these 3 core virtues from the Tao Te Ching are very much like those taught by the spiritual master Jesus. Now, you're not going to find these in the Christianity of the mega church televangelist who comes in his Rolls Royce and his $5,000 Armani suit. And you're probably not even going to find them in the Catholic bishop who talks in a church that looks like a palace with gold crosses and silver cups and other items all around. These are more the virtues of that itinerant rabbi who went around barefoot, telling his disciples that when they went out, don't take anything with them, just eat whatever people gave you. When he said, as you treat the least of these, meaning the poor, the sick, the disabled, how you treat the least of these is how you treat me. And so those kind of core values from the Tao Te Ching, I'll start with the first, humility. Now, humility isn't a concept that's flouted in our society. Between the politicians and the celebrities and the athletes telling us that they're the greatest, they're so wonderful. Television now is just filled with different shows where they're all giving themselves awards. But humility in Taoism is not just a personal trait, but again, it's a divine attribute of the way. And take like me, I am so humble. I mean, I'm probably the humblest person you'll ever meet. I am just extremely humble. And you probably want to hear more about me and how humble I am. But instead, I'll talk about humility in the Tao Te Ching, and it relates it to water. It uses water as this metaphor for humility because water gives life to everything. All living things need water. And yet, as the Tao Te Ching says, water dwells in the lowest places. flows down to the lowest places, even though it is essential to all life. And so it talks about the sage, the wise person, should help others without seeking glory for himself. So it says, by putting himself last, the sage is first. So it's that concept that humility is actually the kind of virtue that raises you up, even though you personally keep yourself down. Another of the basic virtues of Taoism is simplicity. And of course, Thoreau was big on simplicity. He said, we fritter away our lives with details. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Now, you might think somebody pushing simplicity would only say simplify one time instead of three. But he was emphasizing the need for simplicity, which is what the Tao Te Ching does. It's a strong emphasis. It talks about not needing to do more. It says, do enough. There are things that need to be done. Do enough and then stop. Don't make your life so complicated because you always have to accomplish more and more and more. And it talks about your life. It promotes the simple life. It talks about people who get more, people who always want more are never happy because they're always trying to get things. And once they have them, then they have to live behind locked doors and protect everything they have instead of living the simple life. In fact, the Tao Te Ching says, he who is content with contentment is always content. In other words, if you're just that. And in a way, Dale Carnegie said something like that. He said, success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. So if you want to be happy, it's about wanting what you get or what you have rather than trying to get more and more. And the third characteristic that I want to bring out, the third virtue of the Tao Te Ching, is yielding. Now, yielding is in the Tao Te Ching maybe a little bit like what Jesus referred to. He says, don't resist the evil one. If a man slaps you on the right cheek, turn the other cheek to him. Mm-hmm. But of course, Jesus is primarily talking about by yielding in this life, you will be rewarded in the next life, in the afterlife, where the Tao Te Ching talks about yielding is the best way in this life as well. It's the concept that if you push someone and you're stronger, you win. But eventually, you'll always find someone stronger to push back and you lose. But by yielding, you don't have that conflict of it. And again, the concept in Taoism is the willow tree. Oak tree stands firm and tall, and when the wind blows, it doesn't move. But as many of you know, if the wind blows hard enough, the oak tree breaks and falls over. Whereas the willow, even a gentle wind, it bends. A stronger wind, it bends more until it might be virtually lying flat. But when the wind stops, the willow tree comes back up. By yielding, it remains whole. And we kind of had an example of that at our house lately with this horrible snowstorm. And here it was really bad. I think we got maybe 1, maybe 2 inches of snow. For us, that's a lot. And Jean had some daffodils who had already decided it was spring, and they were beautiful, this whole bunch of daffodils that are bloomed. And so I went out there and looked at them after the snowstorm, and they were all the way down, lying on the ground, basically frozen to the ground. And I asked Jean, do you want me to go try to pry them back up? And she said, no, just wait and let's see. Now, if those daffodils had had a hard, bitter, or hard, brittle kind of stem, that snow would have broken them and they would be lying there broken. But instead, they had a flexible stem. So as the snow melted, a big storm is when the snow lasts 3 or 4 hours. By the end of the day, snow was melting. And now those daffodils are back up, looking beautiful. You would never know they ever got bent over. So by not resisting the snow, they were able to live and come back to be these beautiful flowers that they are. So as I said, with the Tao Te Ching, there's any number of virtues that you could take from them. I've chosen those 3 that I think are core virtues. And remember, again, we're not talking about personal attributes that make you a nicer person, that make people like you more so you'll have friends. We're talking about virtues that put you in line with the divine way. Virtues that can lead you from the darkness into the light. But I think we know something else, really, that each of us, as individual expressions of the divine, need to determine what virtues lead us forward. Each of us can look and say, which are the virtues that for me put me in line with divine spirit? And when we find those, as Patty Hummel talked about earlier, we cultivate them. We help them grow inside us. And as these divine virtues grow inside us, we ourselves become the divine way, the Tao. We ourselves become the divine spiritual light that shines forth and helps all of those around us. Thank you.
Yay.
I can't get it to turn.
Bob, that was fabulous, fabulous talk. Thank you so much. You've really helped describe virtue, I think, for everyone. I love that you talked about simplicity, because as I get older, I want to be more simple in my life and just to be happy with what I have and who I am. Great reminders of following the Taoism. Beautiful, just beautiful. Wow. It's time for our offertory. And if you say the offertory statement with me, please. The divine love flowing through me blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. I think everyone knows how you can tithe toward the PLC. You can tithe by going into the iFocus email that you receive through Luana, and there's a green button there that you push where it instructs you how to donate funds to the PLC. Or you can also send a check to the Positive Living Center, and I believe that information is in the chat box area for the PO box information in Oakhurst. So thank you so much for sustaining the PLC with your givings and funds, and your time and your effort that you also give. I know we have many volunteers that do a lot of the behind the scenes work, and it's it's fabulous. It's overwhelming to see people wanting to give to the community in all the ways that we do. So bless you for that. Do we have any announcements this morning? Somebody wave at me if you do. No announcements. Okay. Very good. Our prayer partner this week is Reverend Judy DeRosa. So contact Reverend Judy for prayer treatment if you like. And of course, all practitioners and ministers are available to you always, always, always for prayer treatment and support of you. Next week's speaker is the Reverend Lawana L.J. Bull. So I look forward to listening to hear what LJ has to say next week. Are you ready for that talk?
Look forward to it.
She's looking forward to it. I think that means she's ready. Oh my goodness. And let's do our prayer of protection together. This is my favorite prayer. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yes, yes, and yes. Mr. John Lalonde, you have another song for us?
Yes, I do. And the name of this song is the Skyboat Song. You may recognize it. It's an 1870 Scottish song. This being March, the month of St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to play it on an Irish whistle. And I also thought the Skyboat Song, what a perfect title for us who have lived through several storms that included, I read, 10 atmospheric rivers. So atmospheric river needs a skyboat.
Yes. Beautiful, John. Thank you. Your music today has been over the top wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank everyone for being here today. I want to thank everyone who volunteers, who gives of their time and monies to keep the PLC alive and well as we do. We are so blessed to have this place and time to be together each and every week. It is glorious that all that everyone does. Thank you to our speakers, Reverend Judy and Reverend Bob. Wonderful, wonderful messages today and reminders of us of all of our good. We are so blessed to have each other. Reverend Sandy, will you please pray us out?
Oh, today is a day full of gratitude. There's so much thanks to be given for the water that has watered California. The storms have brought us needed water. We were thirsty. We were in a drought. We've been watered. Our prayers were answered. And it's in the same way that coming to church on Sunday waters our soul. We are watered in our spirituality. We are watered as we come together, knowing that the beauty of the divine is us. Knowing this, I am so grateful for all that we have, all that we've been given, and all that is still to come. Life is good, and I am so grateful to be a part of it. I am so grateful for my spiritual family, for everything in my world, and for the water. And say with me, please, and so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Reverend Sandy. Thank you all again for being here today. Wonderful to see
Yep.
you all.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a